Whether you're used to cruising cats or coming to them for the first time, the bottom line is that they're very different to monohulls. But how? Why does it matter? We've come to Tortola in the British Virgin Islands, one of the centres for catamaran cruising, where we've been lent a moorings 4800, and we're joined by renowned multi-hull designer Nigel Irens.
Catamarans and beaches go together, and we can get in pretty close to anchor, which is a really nice thing with the catamaran. And actually the manoeuvre of putting the anchor down and lifting it is quite easy, again because of the span of having the two engines, and you can control the orientation of the boat, and you can run backwards in a nice straight line to lay out the chain and eventually snub the anchor in. So that's all very useful really. The only slight problem is that because we're quite far back in the boat where this roller is, this stem head roller as it were, the boat does, the catamaran tends to range around like this as the wind's blowing, hunting to and fro, which is very inconvenient especially if you've got several catamarans together. So you stop that by using a bridle. So artificially you're moving the point of attachment further forward, and if the boat tends to go off to one side, it's pulled on the downhill side is being pulled back by the bridle. So that's the way to go. So we better do it. Okay. Let it roll. So here's the hook that is attached to the bridle, and it's got a long slot in it so we can put it onto the chain like that, and then we hold on to this little recovery line. And Jonathan, you pay out again now here. Okay, that's about it. We're going to approach this buoy. We're going to be picking up the leader on it. We've got, as usual, the great advantage of the two controls with two engines to hold us in position. On the other hand, there's quite a lot of wind. There's 16, 17 knots of wind from the bow. And we have noticed, particularly with this boat, that the bow tends to suddenly be snatched one way or the other by the wind. So it could be a little more difficult than it might seem actually. The first thing is to get well lined up downwind of it, which is what I'm doing now. You can see it's being pulled to port now, and I'm having to, there's a point where the rudder isn't going to be useful anymore because we're not making any way. But I've got to try and hold a dead head to wind, but it's not easy. There we are, she's going to starboard now, so I have to reverse the controls. I'm not going to bother with the rudder, doesn't make any difference. I'm looking at Jonathan, who's got he's pointing with because I'm not going to be able to see it anymore, so I've got to be guided by his actions on the bow there. Okay. Well, that wasn't too bad, but I think that's the kind of thing where a bit of practice picking up a buoy that whether you intend to pick it up or not, is a good thing. Get some time in on making those calls, and the stronger the wind, the more difficult it is, of course.